Put yourselves back into your space. Okay? Now, when you're finished, it's really important that you kind of rub both of your hands together and pull them back. That pulls your electrical magnetic field back to yourself. Okay? That's called a psychic break. It's actually an old Huda break, and it works really well, especially if you're working with a lot of people. Okay, what did you see?
Quite a bit of inflammation in the eye area. Some of the, as the eye feeds, the inflammation was causing to be smaller in the back, so that's causing probably some pain. And also the inflammation, but it's due to the inflammation. It's because of the swelling. It's shutting down a little bit of the circuit way, and so that was opened back up. The back had slipped, and there were two vertebrae rubbing against each other, one kind of on top of the other. So that was pulled back and set right. And the knee.
How it feels to be loved for no reason, just loved because. It's really quite an interesting feeling. And those are the people that say, I didn't feel very much.
I did. I saw light. Like a ball way up high, and there was light. That's what I saw.
And how did you gather the love, by the way? Did you just gather it and pull it down, or?
I can see it the same way. And then I just draw it down through.
Cool.
So after Michelle worked on me,
The following discussion on DNA with Vienna was recorded at different intervals. This first piece was recorded during an outing in July of 2000. The second piece was taken at Vienna's office in August of the year. Every attempt has been made to preserve the integrity of the teachings.
These little pairs of our DNA tell our body what it's going to be. It has a total structure of everything we are. But they're put together in 4 parts and arranged in different ways that it makes our eyes green, makes us have eyes, makes us have our body structure, tells our liver what to do, tells our body what to do. And this whole structure of the DNA is in every single cell of our body. So every cell of our body has a perfect blueprint to our body. And our bodies think they're perfect. So one problem that healers make when they command a perfect body, they'll go up and they'll command the body to be perfect. The body already thinks it's perfect. So if the body has diabetes, it has perfect diabetes. And if it has the perfect hypoglycemia, the perfect leukemia, the perfect everything. So you can't command the body to be perfect. And the one thing about DNA is that you can take the nucleus out of a cell, and the cell will still live and do its normal job until it runs out of time and it dies. The nucleus and the DNA tell the cell how to reproduce. So it tells it to reproduce itself. That are actually open not only to take in the nutrition that they're made for, but also take in emotions. And so every cell can actually connect with the mind, body, and spirit, because every cell is connected to every emotion. So some receptors are for anger, and they found that cancer cells have enormous amount of receptors for anger and hatred. And they found that other cells have receptors for joy, and when the cell is in a mode of joy, it will clean up all the toxins around itself. So the body actually works as a total unit, mind, body, and soul, and the DNA has all the structure for it. So here's this piece of DNA, which is so tiny that it's in the nucleus of a cell, but if you stretched it out, it would be as tall as a man. Just one strand of DNA. And it's wrapped so tight, it has every program of that person. It's almost like we're absolutely perfect, intricate machinery of total perfect computers. And that we're placed in this body to experience our experiences and to record them in our DNA. And the DNA is passed down generation to generation, and we know that you inherit things from your grandfathers at least 7 generations back. And so when we do like the gene work, in which we do get into later, we actually go into the gene and into the morphogenic field and change things that have been passed on to you for generations, like the ability of thinking that you're not good enough, or things that your grandfathers put into you, like you have to work hard for every penny you get, and it's really not good to be successful, or you have to struggle, or all of these things that we inherit from our ancestors. And we pick and choose, and our DNA learns everything that we learn. So every cell that in our body has full memory of everything we've ever learned. So when you talk about changing a person's DNA, you're talking about changing the whole person as a whole. And if you talk about adding strands to the DNA, one strand, and there's 2 strands in each chromosome, and one strand runs hundreds of thousands of functions in the body. Hundreds and thousands. And you talk about adding new strands to the DNA. Oh my gosh, that is the coolest one of all. That is a ladybug. It's good luck. Want to hold it? Wow, that just like totally charms me, totally. So as she grows, like watching Jenna, as she grows and learns, every cell in her body remembers everything that she's learning. And every cell in our body has full memory of our ancestors, and I think that has a lot to do with what we think is past life memories. really and truly. Under hypnosis, they took me back to when my mother was 7.
Mama,
And I had her memories.
can I hold it, somebody?
I'm not saying that there's not a reason that we could be, I mean, certainly we can't learn everything in one time maybe on this earth, but our DNA certainly thinks it is, and it's definitely evolving with every memory it has.
Okay, come on, she's talking. Come over here.
Well, that's what your DNA is. Isn't that cool? So it runs everything. But now the neatest part is the morphogenetic field is a field around the DNA, which tells the DNA what to do in the first place. Science don't know what that's made of, but they know it's there. It's something around that DNA that says that that baby will be a baby girl or a baby boy. It's before the cell ever starts to copycat itself. And DNA is in the very first cell of life. And so if you really want to know what's going on with a person, you go into their space. You can tell what's going on with them by just looking at their organs. You can tell which organ's working right, which one isn't, and you can tell which feelings and emotions they have that is changing their body. If they're really a structured human being that has a lot of joy and a lot of happiness, then they're in good health. And if they're someone who has a lot of anger, then they're not in good health. You can tell if they're obese, that there's organs that aren't working right. You can tell if